So now for this now, I want to make sure that I'm working with a good line height because I want the text to be very, very legible and readable. So for something I could do here for 16, to get your line height, basically line height means that when you have a group of text like this, line height is the distance between this line and this line. Then the first and the second line, the second and the third line, the third and the fourth line. That's the difference, the gap between them. That's what line height is. So if you want to change your line height for any text, this is the font size. Here where you have auto, here is the line height. But you could change it. You don't need to, you could remove it from auto and change it to whatever you want. So let me show you how line height works. So let's remove this auto and change this to 12. Can you see that the text now looks jam-packed together? Yeah, so that's what line height does. If I want to use 72 now, you see that it's going to be so far apart. Good. So that is exactly what the function of line height is. So basically, for line height, if you want to get it, there's a lot of calculations for it, but basically I use the font size times 1.5. So that way I get my line height. So I could just do 16, then multiplied by 1.5. So that should be around 24 something. Yeah, so this makes it like very legible. So this now means that the spacing between the elements are enough. They are readable and they're legible for any user to find, to easily, be able to read it. So yeah, so for this, I'm also looking for a way to make sure that there is distinction between all this. That's what we call text hierarchy. So I could, okay, first of all, let me reduce the color of this, the black here. Let me make this a little bit light, just to show the distinction between all the three elements I have there. We'll make this a little light. Good. Then this, I also will try, let me try and reduce the font size of this to like 14. Okay, good. So now there is distinction between all three. This is big and bold. This is 20 and semi-bold. This is 14 and regular. And this is, okay, this should even be smaller than this. Okay, so what we'll do is let's make this 16 and regular. Let's make this 16 and regular. And then this will now be 14 and a little bit smaller. 14 regular also good. So here too, I could also actually reduce the color a little just to draw that distinction between all three elements. Let me reduce the color of this to come to the L here, reduce the color here. So that way it's not really drawing a lot of attention to itself. Okay, good. So this is what we call text hierarchy, where one is bolder than the other, so that way you know what to focus on, you know what is really important. So what we're trying to, show here is this text hierarchy we have here. So same as you can see, even in the design, that's the same thing they did here too. So it's just one of the concepts of designs that, we tend to use a lot. So yeah, so for this now, so everything is coming together. I have this is the testimonial, this is the review. I have this is where I'm going to put the image. This is the name, and this is the role of the user. So now, if you want to align this now, you have to make sure that this is going to be aligned to this text. So let's align that first. Let's align that first. Also, bring it until we see that line snap. This, yeah, good. So this shows that it's aligned together now. So good. So we have that. Also, want to make sure this and this is aligned together. So let's make sure that we see that snap. When I said this and this, I meant the name and the role. We also want to make sure it's aligned together. So you can see that snap, snap, snap. So it shows that this and this two is now aligned together. The distance is 12. Here too, we have 12. Okay, so now, also want to make sure the spacing between them two. Want to make sure, apart from alignment, also want to make sure the spacing. So we have 12 here. We'll make this 8. Yeah, so also we could want to try to make sure that this one is in the middle of this text. So I could actually auto layout this too. Shift A. So yeah, auto layout has been added now. So it's left aligned. So let me leave it this way. So I will now auto layout this circle to this so that it's in the middle of it. So I can click on the circle, click on this text, and then Shift A also. But that way I have auto layout here. So the space here too is also 12. So this text also, if I wanted to, I could also auto layout this too. It just gives it everything will now be auto layout for the name, auto layout for the name and the avatar, then auto layout for the text and everything together. So let's click on this and then have another auto layout here. So spacing here, I could leave it at 16. Let's see, 16. Yeah, so I like the way this looks. So another thing I could do is just add a, a, a box around it to give it like a stroke feeling, so that it feels contained like a grid. So let's do that. So I could have this here. See? So rather than have this, let me see if I could use a stroke. Let's remove this field, have a stroke instead, make it 0.5 and make it a little bit light. And then the color, let's reduce the color, and also we'll also work on the rounded corners too. So we don't want the rounded corners to be that sharp. So yeah, so this is cool. So rounded corners, use 8 again. And so this is our testimonial field. So we want to make sure this is center aligned in the box. So we can see it's not center aligned. So we'll come here, adjust it. So we have 32 and 33. So we could make this box, could reduce the width by 1. So we now have it equal now. So by the time I come here now, I have 32, 32. So also I could want to have 32 even here and here too. So we can just reduce the height to make sure we have 32 on all 4 sides. So that way, it looks better that way. Because now we have 46 up there and we have 32 down here. So we could just remove that to make it all 32. So let's reduce the height also. And remove 14 from that. Oh, I didn't get the calculation, but let's see if we can do it here. So okay, so we want 32 on both. So since we remove 4 from the height, let's remove 4 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So now we can now have 32 on all 4 sides now. 32, 32, 32. Good. So we can also now group all of this together to make it one. Control G. And that way you have your testimonial aspect of the image of the design. So yeah, we could now replicate this, replicate this, maybe like make it like 3. Yeah, so replicate this, make it 3. So eventually what you can now do is just change the name and the role. So we have, well, this is even almost still the same thing. So let's just change the name. We could leave the other text inside, as since they are dummy text, we could just leave them inside. But let's just change the name here. So let's have let me edit the name here. So let's have Elizabeth in. So yeah, we have this. So for the name here, we could also change the name here. So for this, we could have Sansa Star. So that way we are ready to go. Yeah, so we could also have auto layouts on all 3 of them, so we can have good spacing between all the 3. Shift A. So that way I could have okay, let's first centralize it so that way we know how much space we need. Centralize, and then we have 127, 127. And what we need is 120. So we're still in the ballpark, we don't have it outside of the margins, Well, even if we add a little bit more, if we make it 70, let's say what 70 spacing will do. 70. Centralize it again. Check for this. This is 125, 125. Okay. That's still inside there. We can open this. Oh, sorry about this. Control Z. So we could bring out our margin just to make sure that all our elements are still contained inside that. So you can see our elements are still contained inside there. So yeah, we are still good. So we can turn this off again. Can turn this off again. So as you can see that the page is slowly coming together and taking shape, you know. So let's see if we can add images here. I like to use a plugin called FreePic. Let's see if we can get that here. So we can add images to that for our avatar. Okay, so let's bring our FreePic. Let's run it. So we can just search for images and then just fill it in. So it's taking a while to come up, but it's already running. So we'll just fill it with images, and then that way, our avatars are now in place. So we could just search for so we have all women. So let's just search for that. Yeah, good. So let's fill this with this. I already highlighted on the image on the shapes I'm trying to fill. So automatically just going to change. So we have that. The first one has been filled. So I click on this again. So I can just find another image here that I can fill it with. Let's fill it with this. And that is filled. I can adjust this a little. Okay, let me finish filling first, and I can adjust all of them. So the last one here. So we can come here and fill it with this. So yeah, we're done. So we can close this up. We're done with this. So this one is kind of shifted. So we can adjust this now. Just use the crop option. So I just come here from fill. I choose crop. So that way I can move it around until I get it in the middle. Yeah, so I moved it. It's no center now. And that way it looks way better. So now, as always, our testimonial is done. And like that, just with these little tweaks and all that, we have another section of our page. And let's make sure we move this to have good space in here. Let's leave this. Okay, what do we have here? So we have to make sure we keep being consistent. So we have 32 here. We have to make sure this is also 32. 32 here also. So so we have another section now, and then like that, the whole page is just going to be done. So we have another section here. So the next thing, we can move to the next section. Also want to add more to the page again, because like I said, since we have more content, we just need to keep adding more. So we hold down Control again, then we drag down. So we are done with two sections now. We're going to go to the next section now.